What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got 3 incredible entitled parent stories which you're gonna love. Entitled Mum wants us to leave go-karting track because we were being too dominant. Intro. So this happened 2 years ago and I still find this funny. It was 2017 in November and that is during Formula 1 in Abu Dhabi. Me and my friends went to watch practice 1 and 2, but there was a 2.5 hour gap between those 2 sessions. So me and my friends decided, let's have some fun on the go-karting track. We have a little bit of experience of go-karting. So we were put into the 7 to 11 because we were 11 age group and we were at the back of the starting grid. We were pretty good and we were all ahead by the second lap. I finished second and my other friend won the race and the other one finished third. We got out of the kart and this kid that was 8 started complaining why we finished 10 seconds ahead. The dialogue goes like this. Let's call the little kid Kevin. Mum, here are these 3 going way too fast and not giving us a chance to win. Let me see. Then the entitled mum says to me, so you 3 won the race and didn't give my kid any chance of winning? It's racing, it's not giving chances. How dare you talk back to me, you disrespectful child. My first friend said he didn't talk back, he just told you the basic rule of racing. And my second friend agrees, yeah, exactly, it's racing. If you want a chance, then go to bumper cars at the mall. You are so unbelievably rude. Mom, it's just racing. But I get cut off by the entitled mum. I demand a refund for making my son lose a race. No, he should have been better at racing. It's not our fault. I will call the cops for you idiots wasting my money. So me, my first friend, and my second friend all start laughing because of this idiotic logic. What's funny? You'll be talking to the cops soon. It's just the basic rules of racing. If your child is not good, it's not our fault. Give me 75 dirhams, otherwise I'll call the police. Then my dad got involved. Mom, I think you must leave these boys alone as they did nothing wrong. They just have experience with go-karting. Take your son and train him if you feel like it. The entitled mum gets annoyed and leaves with her child. Later on, we dropped off my friends and in the car, all we could talk about was the stupidity of that woman. Ah, what a day that was. I struck gold with that entitled mum. Well, dang, she got burned, that's for sure. I mean, as long as you guys were driving safely, I'm not sure why it's a problem being competitive. It is racing after all. You want to win the race, don't you? And if her kid isn't that good at racing and started whinging, well, yeah, you're right. That is their problem, not yours. And also, it wasn't a serious race, was it? It's not like you're in Formula 1. I've just got one thing that comes to mind here.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Moving on to our next story. You can't eat cheese because my son hates it. The roommate 1. This story is about my roommate, a very peculiar guy about whom I have a lot of stories to share, but I prefer to write more short anecdotes about him than a lot of different events altogether, so let me know if you'd like to hear them. The first time he came to see the house, he showed up with his parents. They asked 1,000 questions about the house, then called the landlord to say that they would rent an entire room with 2 beds instead of just 1 bed in it. He didn't want to share the room with others, but he didn't want to rent a room with a single bed because he needed more space than the others. That was the moment where I realized I was facing an entitled family. After renting the room, the father sat down on the sofa with a grunt, and the mother began washing everything the son could touch during his stay. Not the rest of the house though. So at dinner time, we couldn't cook or eat because the lady had to rub the furniture chosen by the son to store his belongings, the shelf of the refrigerator that the son had chosen to occupy, and so on. At a certain point, while I was in my room, I heard them calling me loudly, so I ran to the kitchen thinking of what could have happened. The son was behind the mother with folded arms, and she was vigorously rubbing the door of a piece of furniture. She looked at me and asked, "Do you eat cheese?" I thought about it for a moment and answered, "Well, it depends, some types of cheese." She glanced at me again, this time with pity in her eyes, and added, "Well, my son doesn't like cheese." Okay? I wasn't sure how to respond, so I tried to joke about it. "Well, it means I won't offer him dairy products," I replied laughing, but they were very serious. "Do you really have to eat it?" she continued. "Eat what?" "The cheese." At this point, I was genuinely confused. The son just stared at me. "Why? Is he allergic?" I asked after a moment of reflection. It was very strange to talk about the son, who was more than 20 years old, as if he were not there. "No," the mother replied, "but he thinks it sucks anyway." I was in the, okay phase again. "I understand," I just answered, without really understanding, but she didn't let go. "However, you can cook a lot of things without buying cheese. There is no need to eat it." At this point, it was just started to become a matter of principle for me. I understand that, but it doesn't suck for me. In fact, there are some very good types of cheese. Here, the boy snorted, whereupon I turned to him because the situation was starting to get really ridiculous. You don't drink milk? Yes, he finally spoke. And you don't eat yogurt? I kept asking. Yes, he continued. So the mother, suddenly satisfied, intruded again. Exactly, you can eat milk and yogurt, he likes them. But I'm the one who eats cheese, not him, I repeated a little dully, without really knowing what else to say. She got annoyed. Whoever eats has nothing to do with it. At our house, cheese doesn't come in here because otherwise he throws it away. He can't even stand it. That's right, at your house, I replied. 3 people live in this house. Even if I choose to not eat cheese anymore, I certainly can't force the other boy to do the same. My reasoning didn't intimidate the lady who tried to protest, but at that point I simply turned on my heels and left. Unfortunately, the matter didn't end there. For months we quarreled over the cheese problem, with the boy screaming every time he saw it on our plates, in the fridge or elsewhere. 2 years have passed, but he's still a huge pain in the butt. Oh my goodness, 2 years, wow. You know what, if that was me, and I'm sorry if this offends anyone, I would eat cheese every effing day just to shove it in his stupid face. Like, come on, if I want to eat cheese and you're not allergic to cheese, you just don't like it, you can't stop me, I'm sorry. Other than that, all I would say is maybe speak to your landlord and say how ridiculous this new roommate is being. Well, not new anymore, you've been with him for 2 years. I'm sure it doesn't say in the landlord's contract that the other roommates are not allowed to eat cheese. That seems a little bit ridiculous, so I guess just take it up with him or her. Now guys, you may have thought that was the end of this story, but no, there is a part 2. Let's throw away perfectly good food because why not? The roommate 2. His mother is a homemaker, his father does manual work, he is unemployed. How he can spend almost €1,000 a month alone is a mystery. However, I know that the money is sent to him by his parents, and this is clear also for another reason. He has absolutely no idea of the value of money. The first thing he did after moving in was buying things for himself. Okay, you would say, it's normal to buy food, a toothbrush, soap, things like that. Yeah, too bad I'm not talking about things like that. His first trip back from the supermarket included pots, pans, a cutting board, cutlery, a pillow, and a drying rack. Initially, I was still a little naive, having no idea how spoiled he was. I pointed out that these things were already in the house, and he replied shouting at me, "No, you understand nothing. These things are mine, not for the house." He went to his room, changed the pillow on his bed, went back to the living room, and threw the old pillow at me with a disgusted face expression. "Take, I would never use it." And this was our first day of cohabitation. Over time, there have been other at least unusual purchases, such as a personal coffee machine, a set of personal basins, or even personal pieces of furniture. His most shocking and mention-worthy purchase is definitely a vacuum cleaner, also for personal use. And by personal, I mean not only of his exclusive use, but that he uses it only in his bedroom. So imagine the scene. He enters his room, turns on the vacuum cleaner, uses it in the few square meters that make up his room, then turns it off, leaves the room, takes the common broom and uses it to sweep in the common areas. Creepy. But now let's go back to the topic of the post, food. My roommate has a serious problem with food brands. He buys only and exclusively the brands advertised on TV. Obviously, it would be useless to make brand names here since they are different in almost all countries. But think of the most common advertisements on your most common television networks. Well, that's what he would buy. If there is more than one famous brand, he buys the more expensive one. This also applies to home delivered food. If there are 2 absolutely identical sandwiches sold by 2 different restaurants, he chooses the most expensive one because, I quote verbatim, "If it costs more, it means that it's better." Over time, I realized that he simply likes to spend as much as possible even when it isn't necessary. Whenever he cooks for 3 people, then he obviously eats alone. Does this mean he eats for 3 people? No. This means that he cooks for 3 people, eats a normal portion, and then throws away whatever is left over. His normal meal is made up of first course, second course, side dish, and dessert. He eats a third of the first one, throws the leftovers, eats a third of the second one with the side dish, throws again the leftovers, and then eats the desserts. He cooks so much food, mainly because he takes pictures of it to send to his mum and to be told by her how good he is. His mother, and his girlfriend as well, fill him with so much praise that he thinks of himself as a chef. When I or the other roommate cook, he often comes to touch our food, sniff it with his nose almost inside the plate, do things to the food while on the cooker, or provide absolutely unsolicited suggestions. Sometimes he also tries to make some compliments, like, "It smells so good to be sub-brand meat," or "Did you cook this soup? It doesn't seem to be disgusting." Last but not least, as if it weren't enough to throw away cooked food, he also throws away raw food. Sometimes he opens the fridge, takes the zucchinis he bought a few days earlier, and asks me, "How long ago did I buy these zucchinis?" To which I reply, "I don't know, 4 days?" He shrugs and comments, "Oh well, they bored me." Then he opens the dustbin and throws them away. He does it with zucchinis, eggs, apples, oranges, aubergines, ham, and so on. I discover that it's a habit for his parents too. The last time they came to see him, the mother opened the fridge, took his half-used butter and asked him, "When did you buy this? It has the Christmas package. It's old. Throw it away." It wasn't August, it was the second week of January. In the meantime, I've got to go grocery shopping at the discount store because I've very little money, if any. But hey, the other roommate and I have to buy toilet paper, absorbent paper, dish soap, etc. for him too, because he doesn't give us the money for these things. Isn't he a lovable, spoiled boy? Oh my goodness me. Well, based on these two stories, it's clear that your roommate is absolutely terrible. I wonder if you and your other roommate have tried talking to him and actually sitting him down and saying, "Look, we've got a few issues with how you're being. Can we talk about it?" But maybe he is just so out of touch with reality that that's not really something that you can do. This guy sounds like an absolute loser, to be honest. And if he's throwing away raw food and just food that isn't even out of date, definitely don't buy loo roll for him. Let him get his own. Like, if he's not contributing to the house, he doesn't get the right to use any of the stuff that you guys buy. Guys, comment down below. Have you ever had a roommate or lived with someone who is absolutely terrible? Yeah, just let me know in the comments. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this episode on my channel. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, drop this video a like, comment your opinions down below, and subscribe for daily Reddit content. With that being said, if you want another video right away, check out the video on screen right now. Now, this video is actually a story that I wrote myself about an entitled parent I came across, so you're gonna want to click on it. If not, I will see you guys all tomorrow for a brand new upload.